Word Laos.
Welcome to Travel Talk, filmed at the Peachtree Rose Marketing Studios and hosted by the hotel guide publisher, Edward Laos.
Good afternoon, everybody. Edward Laos here, publisher of the Hotel Guide and your host of Travel Talk. Really excited about today's edition of Travel Talk. I have Mauri Berry with Remington Hospitality. How are you doing, Mauri?
I'm great, Edward. Thanks for having me today. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I'm just excited about the conversation that we're having or we're going to have and learn a little bit more about what's going on with your company and some of the great things happening, not only for the rest of the year, but maybe into 2025. And then obviously, man, who doesn't love to talk travel?
That's right.
That's our business and we love what we do. So why don't we start like I do with all of my segments, kind of give our audience a little bit of background on who you are and how you kind of got to your role there at Remington.
Sure. So I'm Mauri Berry. I'm Vice President of Marketing and Digital Strategy at Remington Hospitality. I have been around in this space for longer than I care to admit. I've always been in travel, tourism, and hospitality. I started out as a public relations major at a park just outside of Atlanta, a big, large park and resort with 2 hotels, a number of different attractions and whatnot. And so stayed there for several years and then decided that I wanted to expand my horizons and went into the agency business where I was on the PR side of an integrated agency handling an Atlanta-based convention and visitors bureau, a couple of international travel destinations in Georgia, and really got the bug for integrated marketing. So I was on the PR side, but was exposed to, more traditional advertising and marketing and sort of caught that bug. Was there, working on a number of different tourism and hospitality accounts for a number of years. Went over to the client side, went back to the client side at a major resort in Atlanta on Lake Lanier, where I, really started to, supported the property from an integrated marketing standpoint. That was before digital or e-commerce was even around. So again, sort of tells you how long I've been around. After I left that property, I moved on to work at Marriott International, where I was in the field marketing organization just as SEO was becoming a thing. And really over the course of, time at Marriott really, began to transition even more into the e-commerce and digital marketing side of the business. So, it's sort of been an evolution over time. I was with Marriott for about 15 years and then moved over to management companies. So I wanted to expand my experience beyond just Marriott into other brands. I wanted to really understand, the ecosystem outside of just Marriott, the Marriott managed hotels organization. And I haven't looked back. I've been on the third party management side since late 2018. And have loved every second of the journey.
Oh, that's amazing. Tell me some of the differences between where you are now and where you were with, for instance, with Marriott, some of the things that stand out and makes your role exciting.
Yeah, I would say that, largely it's very similar, right? The biggest difference obviously is an expansion of brands and having, understanding all of the nuances and the unique differentiators across all of the major hotel chains and brands, but also having the ability to work on independent hotels has been just a wonderful journey that I've had so far. And really, learning how to apply and adapt the core principles of hotel marketing from a brand perspective, and then sort of tweaking it and reapplying it to the independent hotels, but in a, much more unique and fresh way.
No, perfect. So as we're talking a little about where you came from, where you are at now. Tell us a little bit about Remington, what's going on there with the management firm, and maybe some things that are happening possibly for 2025.
Yeah. So when I joined Remington in 2021, we had about 90 hotels, and about 90% of those hotels were owned and managed, right? So they were owned by our parent company, and about 10% were third party managed.
Okay.
Since then, we are now 50-50 owned and managed and third party managed. So we're really growing in the space of third party management. So, really enjoying the opportunity to drive business growth for hotels under management for, our new ownership partners and developers. So, that's one thing that's sort of been a consistent, focus over the last few years. Just in the past 12 to 18 months, we've really had a focused effort on expanding into the Caribbean and Latin America. So we've assumed management and taken over management for half a dozen or so independent and branded hotels across CALA. We have dozens of hotels in the development pipeline that are, under construction and in development now that we will be, facilitating that opening for those hotels. So that is super exciting. We've also, that's Remington from a macro standpoint. From the marketing and digital standpoint at Remington, we've really focused on growing our marketing and digital strategy team into, what we call an in-house marketing and digital agency. So we've expanded our capabilities with a dedicated in-house social agency called Ramp Social, where we're providing social media services for hotels within our portfolio. Of course, building out and honing our capabilities in tried and true and sort of foundational digital strategies like search engine optimization, paid media management, but then also expanding into some of the softer side of marketing with creative services and merchandising and content. So really growing and building out Remington's marketing and digital in-house agency to be a full service agency for our client partners.
Wow. I don't know that I've heard of another company that's doing that I've talked to so far. So having an agency myself, I've got the hotel guy, but we actually had to create destination marketing group years ago because we were taking on all the clients' artwork, and all of a sudden they're saying, hey, can you do this for us? A rat card, a brochure, a website. And well, you're not going to turn down business. So you're going to create and get better. And so I love what y'all are doing to streamline that. And I think it's important for companies because you're keeping things closer to the vest. You understand your clients. Nobody understands it better than you. And I love that you have a team that you're putting together within the whole framework of the organization. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Let's switch a little bit from the Remington side and let's talk a little bit on the personal side. I always like to ask my guests about travel destinations because I've gotten some great answers from some of my fellow podcast guests. But tell me, what are a couple of your favorite places you have traveled to so far?
Yeah, well, I would say that my favorite sort of characteristics of travel destinations are sand, surf, and mountains. Anything that combines all three is a bonus. So, of course, Costa Rica is a glorious destination with sand, surf, mountains, everything in between. So I would have to say that that's probably one of my favorites.
That's awesome. So I'm sure you've traveled a lot, but I'm hoping that you still have some bucket list travel spots. What are some of your bucket list travel ideas or spots?
I would say anything in the Mediterranean region, Greece, Italy, Spain, anything there is definitely bucket list. I would say Portugal as well. Those are certainly some of those aspirational destinations for me.
Oh, wow. Those are all great ones. And we probably share some of the same ideologies when it comes to where we want to travel. I am not much of a cold guy, but give me a beach, give me some sand, and definitely some places to maybe hike. And I'm excited about that as well. So, all right, so let's transition a little bit back to the business side of things. And I'd like tell me some of the differences on how marketing in the hospitality industry has maybe evolved over the years to kind of put into your role, and the importance of not only digital marketing but also public relations,
Yeah.
and combining the two of them.
Yeah, it's really interesting. As I mentioned earlier, I sort of started in PR in my career and then morphed over into integrated marketing, advertising, and then sort of morphed into digital and e-commerce. And it all is sort of coming back full circle, frankly, because now storytelling and experiential marketing is so incredibly important in marketing and digital today. And I think that, for me, one of the keys to my success is having that PR background as sort of a core foundation for me that has really helped me sort of bring everything full circle so that we are focusing on, marketing in a very marketing experiences and connecting to travelers and consumers on an emotional level, and really using that storytelling to inspire travel and desire to travel. Yeah. So really sort of leaning into that core background of PR for me, and then, using those core principles across every sort of sub-discipline within marketing to be, use that full framework to be a true comprehensive marketer.
No, I agree. A great marketing program, a great advertising program is all about telling stories and transfer of emotions. I have the same background you do, a BA in communication arts. So writing was my background before I took over the magazine here as well. But it's important. It's not that old days where you just plop an ad and hope everybody kind of comes and sees you, because there's so much noise out there. And storytelling, for instance, experiential travel is all the next rage for everything. People want to experience those things, whether they even go into a hotel, to the culinary dining options, to going on the beach, to hiking. Those are the things that people remember, and that's where you get brand advocates. That's where you get other people telling your story for you, which is what you want.
Definitely.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of great things. I love the evolution of where you began to where you are now, and I love how things are coming full circle. And I think Remington's is really in a great spot to have you at the helm of the digital side of things, because that PR background is important, and then the fact that we've seen it all, both of us have seen it all. Yeah. And from a marketing and PR perspective, you're able to marry those two together. So we got a couple of minutes left. Any final thoughts and any best ways for people to contact you or the company, find out more information on Remington?
Oh, sure. So I'm on LinkedIn, pretty easy to find, Mauri Berry on LinkedIn. Certainly, check out the Remington website, check out our portfolio. We've got a number of really great, exciting projects underway right now. As an example, we have, a number of hotels coming up that are going to be grand opening in the next 12 months. We also have a couple of brand conversions this year. So super excited about some of our special projects that we have going on right now in New Orleans, in Key West, in Belize. We've got a fun new project happening on Grand Cayman. So, check it out on remingtonhospitality.com or hit me up on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Well, I really appreciate you being on today's podcast, Mauri. You gave us some great insights from the marketing travel side of things. And I love what Remington's doing. Yes, I have checked out the website, and you have some great properties. And I love the fact that you got some great properties coming. So growing company is always a great company there. So thank you for being on today's podcast.
Oh, thank you, Edward. Really appreciate it. Proud to be here.
Perfect. To all of our listeners, readers, guests out there, please continue to like and follow the Hotel Guide, share this comments, share everything. We will have Remington's website in the comment notes so that people can find them as well. But as we like to say, we always want to talk about travel and making memories. That's what we do here at the Hotel Guide. And until next time, have an amazing day, and we'll talk soon. Take care.